Welcome back. I Am Hope is an insightful documentary about a resilient community coming together to create the first yoga and mindfulness class in Oakland Unified School District Middle Schools. Working collaboratively with staff and administration, yoga instructor Shaka Jamal develops strong relationships with youth who are receiving their first in-school instruction of yoga and mindfulness. Through a challenging school year, students are engaged in a range of mindfulness activities that transform them from mindful learners to mindful leaders. Shaka Jamal is a culturally innovative artist and filmmaker from Oakland, California, and he joined us now in studio to tell us more. Shaka, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Also. Thank you.
Good stuff, man. Good to have you. Good to see you on the show.
Yes.
Just take us through your background. Just who is Shaka Jamal?
Well, I'm an Oakland-based artist from Oakland, California. I do film, music, yoga, but also have a strong foundation here in South Africa. I served in the U.S. Peace Corps volunteer organization in Limpopo, Gazankulu area in Guyana.
Right.
Yes.
What then inspired this documentary?
Well, what really inspired this documentary was seeing the transformation of the students in this middle school. Most of the students were 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and I was leading them in mindfulness and yoga. And what we really were seeing is, at the beginning, some of the students really didn't want to do it. But then as time went by, they were actually asking for the class, actually taking what they learned and taking it home and sharing it with their family members, and even being able to teach other students in the school.
As much as, you know, the focus is on yoga, but it's also on mindfulness. Just take us through the concept of mindfulness. What do you mean about mindfulness, and how do you get students to be, you know, to embrace the whole concept of mindfulness?
Well, I think the greatest practice in getting students to embracing it as an instructor is for me to actually embrace it myself and to practice what I actually preach.
Okay.
Right? The mindfulness is just us becoming aware of how our emotions are dictating maybe how we interact with people internally and externally in the world around us, and really giving students a sense of empowerment so that they can learn the difference between having power and using force. And what mindfulness makes students understand is that they can be powerful without being forceful, but it's also good for teachers.
Okay. What are some of the activities that the students embark on, you know, to impart the whole concept of mindfulness, or making mindful learners, as it were?
Well, I'll tell you three things. We start every class with a bell exercise. So we ring a bell, you focus on the sound of the bell, blocking out all external or internal distractions. It's really just to come in and increase the focus of the students so they can be actually successful in any atmosphere, whether it's they're playing sports, in the classroom, or at home. Then we do a breathing exercise, which really helps to alleviate any anxiety, stress, or even trauma that's being built up over time. And then we say affirmation. You know, this positive affirmation is to uplift ourselves and everyone around us. And it's my mind is strong, my body is strong, I am unbounded faith, I am hope. And we say that at the beginning of every class. If nothing else goes on, that's going to go on in the beginning of the class. And
for those who don't necessarily know the concept of yoga, I mean, you touched on some of, you know, the benefits of yoga, the physiological benefits and the social benefits of yoga. But how then do yoga students take that all in? Well,
it's definitely a process. Right, we have research that says at least 15 minutes 3 times a week will make a marked difference in any type of student. Their increase in focus, their decrease in stress, and also being able to manage their emotions. You know, even us as adults have a difficulty at times managing our emotions. But imagine if we can start practicing this when we're in creche, right, grade R, and not have to wait till we're 18, 19, 20, 30 years old to learn how to start regulating our emotions, and know that our emotions are good, but they don't have to control us.
There isn't much physical exercise in yoga, is there?
Yes, there is.
There is?
There is. There's plenty of physical exercise.
Is it?
Yes. All type of movements you can actually... Yoga is really about union. The union of your mind, your body, and your breath.
But it's just stationary. You just sit on the mat. There's no moving.
Well, that's a different. So that's more so mindfulness and meditation, right? The yoga is actually poses that you do to strengthen your body and your breath and your mind, but also that you can sit longer in these meditative and mindful positions for longer periods of time without your body getting painful.
Wow, that is so interesting.
And it's something that our ancestors have practiced for thousands and thousands of years.
Now, tell us more about Namaste Ready and how it sort of provides self-care.
Well, Namaste Ready is an organization that I founded to really activate the healing powers of the black community in Oakland, California. But it's something that's accessible to anyone who wants to gain in the practice, even here in South Africa. And once I learned and went through my yoga certification program, I learned that this was something special I couldn't hold on for myself. And I needed to be able to share that in order to complete that process of being a learner, but also a teacher. You know, Namaste means, it's from Sanskrit in India. The light to me sees, honors, and respects the light in you, which is very similar to Ubuntu, right? I am because we are. A person is a person because of other people. And that spark of light, that spark of life is in all humanity.
So it basically has to do with personal energies?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And you mentioned healing. How does the healing process take place then when you embark on this exercise?
Well, the healing first comes within, right?
Right.
And when the healing starts happening within, we learn in the practice that as we transform our internal self, our external environment can also be transformed.
So basically, you need to be intentional about the healing. You need to decide that you want to heal before the healing process actually kicks in.
Well, that's a piece of it. That's a piece of it. Many times, you know, you're working with young people, they're just practicing. And over time, wisdom gains, right? And then you say, oh, this is what this practice is doing for me. And then they're able to articulate it the more they practice and the older that they get. And the main thing we see in the documentary is that the students start off sometimes resisting some of the work, because sometimes you have to get in touch with things that maybe you normally don't recognize. That's what being mindful is about. And then eventually throughout the documentary, they teach other students, but also other principals and administrators around in the school district.
Right. Now, Shaka, just briefly, what brings you to South Africa, and are you going to be holding any classes while you're here?
Yes. I'm coming to South Africa to promote the film, I Am Hope. Also to work with my brothers, Imik Soul and Slick Angel. You might know them as Afro Soul Pioneers. We have a soundtrack on the album that they're actually on. And we have a curriculum that's surrounding the film that people can actually practice along with the actual film. So if all goes well, we'll be doing screenings here in Johannesburg, at AMP Studios, Bloemfontein, and also in the Eastern Cape in Coffee Bay.
All right. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I need to take news. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Great stuff. Well, that was filmmaker from Oakland, California, Shaka Jamal, speaking to us about his documentary titled I Am Hope.